Welcome to this week's episode of the J&J Podcast. I'm Jamie,
This is Jameson.
and we want to invite all of our listeners in. This episode is going to be an NBA All-Star Weekend recap. And one of the first things that we wanted to jump into, Jameson, first on the docket is the Rising Stars game. Wanted to get your input on that, and you give your thoughts on how you think that turned out.
I'm going to be completely honest with you, and this is going to be the recurring theme for a lot of the All-Star Weekend events. The Rising Stars game it was meh to me. It just really wasn't that good. I will say that the target, I do like the aspect of having the different teams and having them compete, and, they did a single elimination style tournament. I do like that aspect of it. But the games honestly became really boring. Dudes were just out there just not, Dalton Connect was really the only one that could consistently make threes. Stephon Castle looked like prime D Rose because nobody was playing defense. Shout out to him as well. I've really been impressed with Stephon Castle, not only throughout All-Star Weekend, and of course we'll get to his performance in the dunk contest, but he just had a phenomenal rookie year so far for the San Antonio Spurs. But he did his thing, got MVP, but it's really nothing memorable from the Rising Stars game. It's sad to think we went from Kyrie Irving crossing over Brandon Knight, or you remember that year when Tim Hardaway Jr. and Deion Waiters went back and forth at it. It's sad to see how far the Rising Stars game has fallen off along with a lot of the other NBA All-Star events, but really not a whole lot to discuss specifically about that event. It's just it just really wasn't that good to me. And like I said, the only bright spot to me was just the format of it all. I do like the multiple teams, a single elimination format, but just really nothing memorable from that actual Rising Stars game and the couple of games that they did have. But your thoughts?
Yeah, I pretty much agree. I think it was a coming out party for Castle, for those folks that don't get to watch because there's so much focus on Wembanyama. But Castle has quietly his stock keeps rising. Also, we obviously know about him because we watch a lot of basketball. But Keontae George, I think it was an opportunity for him to showcase a little bit as well. But overall, to your point, it looked a lot like the regular All-Star game in the sense that nobody's playing defense. It's literally like the parting of the Red Sea when somebody goes down the middle of the court. Nobody's playing defense, and it wasn't until somebody got close to the score that anybody even put any defensive effort into it. So I'm with you. It was kind of blah, and that's to your point. That's kind of the theme for the whole All-Star weekend with a few highlights here and there. Tell me what you thought about the celebrity game. To be honest with you, I've said it for years now. I don't even know why they have that. That could be honestly, they could just scrap that. It was funny a few years when Kevin Hart was doing it. Those moments were kind of funny, and you actually had dudes like when Common played. I remember Chris Brown played in it.
J. Cole played. He even dunked.
J. Cole played in it. I think Chris Brown either dunked or tried to dunk.
Yeah.
Tara Owens played in it one year. Those were actually good because you had folks on there who were actual athletes and were trying to play. It's kind of a joke now. It's satire at this point for me. The celebrity game. Your thoughts?
No, I completely agree. And it's funny you brought up T.O. because I don't even know if you knew this, but he did play in this year's and he was god awful.
See, that's what I'm saying. I didn't even know he played.
It was so bad though. One of his highlights, he missed 3 straight layups under the basket. It's brother, he was washed. But I mean, Dad, the celebrity game, the winning team only scored 50 something points, just to put into perspective. It was bad. And I mean, the highlight for me was Drewski hitting a 3. And that's saying a lot. It's
what?
If Drewski hitting a 3 is the highlight of a celebrity game, it's just not. And it's no disrespect to Drewski. The brother's hilarious. I love Drewski. Same with Kai Cenat. The celebrity game was so bad. You had people trying to bet on Kai Cenat scoring over 5 points. It was that bad. It was that bad. With all due respect, and he still didn't get it. That's what made it even funnier. But the celebrity game is just, to your point. I was because the thing was, it's like you know me, I'm a huge NBA fan, huge basketball fan. I've always liked, for me, the All-Star week used to be like a holiday for me. Like I would stop everything that I'm doing, no weekend plans. Like I'm watching every event. It's just
that's bigger for you than the Super Bowl.
Exactly, because I'm just such a diehard basketball fan. It's like to go from even like you mentioned, like Chris Brown being in the celebrity game, Kevin Hart, like you've had all these players. So even what people don't realize is the NBA used to have a horse competition on Fridays. Like Kevin Durant and Rajon Rondo played in a horse competition one time, but it's like to go from the days of the celebrity game being good to your point, like it used to be the T-Mobile Rising Stars game. It was good then. So like it just the celebrity game just won't it. Like, and I'm telling you, I haven't seen the ratings yet, but I guarantee you the ratings reflect that. Like what I was watching on Friday night, I turned it back and forth between the celebrity game and the Unrivaled 1-on-1 tournament, but that was way more entertaining to watch for me than the celebrity game and the Rising Stars game.
I literally turned to the celebrity game for about 45 seconds.
Yeah.
And then I turned it. That's why I didn't even know T.O. played. I didn't know that Drewski made a 3 because honestly, that is quite an accomplishment. Let's just
with all due respect.
Be honest, with all due respect. So that to me, yeah. I mean, you said earlier that there used to be a horse competition. Well, the celebrity game has become a donkey competition.
Yeah, it's terrible.
There's another word for donkey. I'm just not gonna say it.
Yep.
But that's kind of what it's become to me. So I got absolutely nothing out of it after that 45 seconds.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
So, well, shifting gears now, and I know you have a pretty strong opinion about this. I actually enjoyed the skills challenge. I really did.
Yeah.
And part of the reason I enjoyed it, number one, when watching Chris Paul and Wembanyama literally try to find a loophole in the competition.
And that was a Chris Paul idea. We both know that.
Sure, it absolutely was, no question. That might have been Cliff Paul.
Cliff Paul.
Cliff came up with that one, and we see what that got them. But I was actually enjoying watching the skills challenge because you could see the dudes who were really trying to do it, and I think I even predicted it at the beginning. I said Donovan Mitchell and Mobley are going to try.
Yep.
They're going to go after this. And initially on that first go round, Donovan Mitchell, his passes through the little tunnel were ridiculous. We were talking about that. Like
one-handed, it was so nonchalant, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, with ease. So the first go around, I thought, I don't know. But then that second time, they were not playing around. Oh. So I actually enjoyed watching that. The who was it? Ricochet and whatever his name was. I'm like, y'all being too cool.
Yep.
You're not putting forth
Ricochet
the right
and
amount.
Alex Sarr.
I'm like, yep. That's exactly the kind of effort that I was expecting from those two. Stop being cute and just put forth some effort. So I actually enjoyed watching Donovan Mitchell and Mobley win the competition because I knew coming in, Mitchell's a competitor, and I figured he was going to go for it.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. It was funny, too, because, I remember I told you before the competition, I was like, there's no way Chris Paul and Wemby lose. They need to give themselves an opportunity getting disqualified, to your point. But to your point, the reason why I also enjoyed it, too, was that was one of the few events from this weekend where people actually tried and cared. Like you said, that first round was a little iffy. Dudes were just trying to kind of feeling it out. But my biggest thing about the skills challenge is I've always loved it. They need to go back to the individual format. I hate the team format. Because think about it. Moses Moody did so good, and then Draymond Green sold him. Like if
I was about to say that Moses Moody, had he been out there by himself, would have won.
Exactly. So you remember even the year Jason Tatum won it when I still like the relay style format where it's like they both go. You have two people going at the same time trying to see who gets the faster time, and
it should be the opposite end though.
Yeah, it should be the opposite end, and then on top of that, it's just keep that format, but allow dudes to win it individually because it's to your point, Moses Moody probably would have won the entire competition if it was individual or Wemby. You get my point?
Yes.
So, overall, though, the skills challenge was actually one of the few bright spots for All-Star Weekend. But just going forward, it's the NBA just needs to go back to the old format. It's I always say this, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And to go from that format of when Jason Tatum hit that half-court shot to win it, Porzingis winning it, individually, like those years, to the team format, I just don't like it. But the NBA needs to go ahead and go back to the old format and then just keep it that way, in my opinion.
I completely agree.
Mm-hmm.
That to me, that would have actually worked out a little bit better.
Yeah.
You've got, like you were saying, you've got the individual, one's going in one direction, one's going in the other direction, and they're competing against each other. That to me worked a lot better.
It did.
I enjoyed watching that. I remember when Darren Williams did it.
Chris Paul.
Chris Paul. I mean, when you go back and look at those dudes, and the thing about Draymond, like you and I even said it, we were like, they might actually do it. Initially I said, I think it's going to be Cleveland. But then when I saw how Moses Moody was shooting, I was like, well, it's a matter of whether or not Draymond, even if he misses, how quickly he gets his shot off. Because I wasn't worried about his passing. And that's the thing that tripped him
I was
up.
just about to say that, like, nobody expected for the passing to be what messed him up, and it was just that. Like, his shooting was fine. It's just
his shooting was actually good.
Yeah, to your point, the second go-around, he didn't even have a chance to go shoot because his passes were so bad.
Yes. That was stunning to me.
Yeah.
Because we know Draymond can pass.
Facts. I was stunned.
Yeah, I was shocked by that.
Yes, sir.
So, well, moving on to probably my favorite part of the All-Star Weekend was a 3-point shooting contest. And going into it, I know that a lot of folks thought it might be Dame. My dark horse, and of course there's some Tar Heel bias here, was Cam Johnson. But it's very, very different when you're taking basketballs off the rack and you're having to move quickly. So, yeah, he was my dark horse. And he turned out to be really, really dark.
The lights were brighter than I expected.
Exactly. Exactly. But then, and you have to admit, I predicted initially that it was going to be Buddy Hield.
That brother's soul, man.
And so first round, I was like, oh, what did he get? 31?
He had 31.
31, first round. I was like, oh, he got this in the bag. Because I even, while we were watching it, and your mom was like, well, who is he? And I was explaining to her how Buddy Hield had, very meager beginnings.
Yep.
How he shot in literally a
milk crate. Yeah.
Yes, a milk crate. And that's how he learned to put the trajectory on his jump shot, put the arc on his jump shot, because he had to shoot it high, and how his jump shot just got better and better and better, and how he has a crazy fast release.
Yep.
So I fully expected, I was like, oh, even if he doesn't get but 26, 27 second round, he's going to win it. Lo and behold, this cat sold and disappointed me. And I was just shocked, but I did like the competition. He put pressure on everybody else. You got to give Tyler Hero his props.
Yep.
Because he stepped up, and Dame kind of shrunk under the pressure. He was going for a three-peat, I think.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was going for a three-peat. So he kind of shrunk under the pressure. But Tyler Hero was actually consistent, because I think his score was pretty much around the same.
It was.
The whole time.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So go ahead.
No. I completely agree with everything you just stated. The thing was, like, and this is what kind of frustrated me. I'm like, bro, why did Steph not do it? They literally, you're in the host city. Like, why did Steph not do it? And this is gonna also lead into our what we discuss later with the All-Star game and just dudes not wanting to participate. It's like, bruh, this young is in your city. You should want to do every single event you can. And with all due respect, I don't think Steph's gonna be in that many more All-Star games. Like, he's in the latter stages of his career. So it's like, the fact that it was hosted in San Francisco, he didn't compete in a 3-point contest. Because just being honest, like, looking at it, he could have won. Like, no one expected Tyler Hero to win. With all due respect,
he did not. He had his teammate who scored really, really high, but he just didn't follow through. So, I at least appreciate that, the fact that Buddy Hield, recognizing that it's in San Francisco, stepped up.
Yes, sir. Like, and that's the thing, like, me, I love Cade Cunningham, but it's like, Cade Cunningham should not have to enter a 3-point contest. Like, there should be enough dudes knocking down at the door. Devin Booker, like, where are you at? Like, you weren't an all-star, I get it, but it's like he lost to Buddy Hield a couple years ago. Dudes just don't got that fight in him no more. Like, if it were me, I'd be in the 3-point contest every year I could be in it. It's like
Yes.
for a lot of them, they shoot the basketball every day. It's not a lot of like Steph. They even said for the 3-point contest, I think Steph practiced a day or two. Like, and I get it. That might be an extreme example. He's the best shooter God's ever created. But at the same time, it's like it's different than the dunk contest. Like the three-point contest, you could practice for a day or two. That's probably what most of these dudes do anyway, and just go out there and shoot. Like,
yes.
It's just there's got to be more of a competitive spirit around All-Star Weekend. It's just not there anymore, no matter the event.
And to your point about Cade and some of the dudes that jumped in, because here's the thing, that format, what folks don't understand is you could be a good in-game shooter.
Yep, it's different.
It's different. Like Cam Johnson is, I mean, we talked about, Cam Johnson has literally, and we talked about this when he was at Carolina, because I talked about, your jump shot looking a lot like Cam's, to be honest. He has perfect form.
Yep.
Like Cam's form, Klay Thompson, Cam, like Steph doesn't have the perfect form.
No.
Most people don't realize that. Klay Thompson, Cam Johnson.
Devin Booker's another one I put in there, but it's rare.
Yes. Perfect, literally the perfect form. But that's different in this kind of format.
Yep.
And so I know Kate is your boy, but maybe he should do the skills competition.
No, I agree. Like even him or like somebody like Jalen Brunson, it's like they're good 3-point shooters in game. They shoot a lot of they shoot high volume threes though in game. Right. It's a difference like when you got to shoot a high percentage standstill 3-point shooting. Like Dalton Connect would have been perfect for this contest. I know he didn't do it, but like those are the type of guys that excel in, and like Devin Booker's a rare case, him and Steph, because it's like they can shoot off the dribble, stand still, it don't matter. But to your point, it's just like more guys actually need to start participating. And I get it, no one's gonna complain because it was like it's the 3-point contest, it's different than the dunk contest. But I'm like, I share the same sentiment. Like, where is Steph? Where's Klay? Where's Devin Booker? Like, where's some of these top guys, like all-star caliber players, superstar, like max contract players? Like, why are they not doing it? Especially, like I said, to Devin Booker's point, like, you lost to Buddy Hield a couple years ago by literally 1 point. Like,
come back and redeem yourself.
Exactly.
Bro.
Where's the competitive fight? Come on, bro.
Listen, we know. Let's just put it this way: some of these cats that are, that supposedly have the Mamba mentality, Kobe would look at them and laugh.
That's what I'm saying.
He really would. Some of them, he would look at them and laugh.
Yep.
There are a few. Listen, I'll be honest with you, and we'll jump to the dunk contest as well. But I'll be honest with you. I could actually see, and I'm talking about the dunk contest now because I'm going to segue. Russell Westbrook, if it wasn't for Mac McClung jumping in, Russell Westbrook could probably win the dunk competition right now.
I'm gonna take it a step further. If Matt McClung won any the other night, LeBron could have won at age 40.
I would agree.
And I know that's an extreme example once again because it's LeBron. But but to your point, it's like the fact that they had to sit up there and this is no disrespect for Matt McClung. I've been watching him since high school. Like I'm actually happy for the brother. But the fact that you had to call somebody up from the G League who's now made more money from the dunk contest than he has playing basketball in the G League, just throw that out there. But the fact you have to call that brother up 3 years in a row to save the dunk contest, that's not good. And like I saw on Twitter during the fact, Ja talking about I think I'm going to throw my name in the hat next year. And Giannis like, I'm Ja Morant. And then Giannis follows suit. He was like, yeah, if Ja does it, I'll do it. I'm like, bro, at this point, like it's a little too late. Because what they don't realize is neither one of them are beating Matt McClung. If he wants to do it again, he's got it. I'm just being honest. I get it.
Because he's creative with it.
He's creative. And I get it. NBA fans, we want to see those top guys. But I'm like, Zion, Ja, y'all should have done that your rookie or sophomore year. Like, even now, I'm like, Ja Morant, I'm like, you saying that, bro, you need to make sure you actually playing first.
Thank you. Brother. Can you play a full week? Because I had you on my fantasy basketball team. Yeah. Can you actually finish a week of basketball?
That's what I'm saying.
About a dunk contest. Don't get me started.
And Giannis, people got to forget, Giannis actually has done it before. He did it either when he was a rookie or a second year. He didn't do that well, but at least he tried. Like,
well, that's also when let's just be honest. He didn't look like the same person.
Oh no,
that looked like
completely different person.
That's a completely different person.
Yeah.
So, but it to your point, it shouldn't be. Oh well, Now that Ja has put his name in, no. Where is your intestinal fortitude?
Exactly.
Like, why can't you step up?
Or like even too,
Um,
like it got so bad where I saw Aaron Gordon like and Zach LaVine hinting at them doing it again. My thing is, I'm like, to their credit, they should never have to do it again, especially Aaron Gordon. He got hoed twice.
he
Like
absolutely
he
did.
literally won both dunk contests, like in everybody's eyes. And if it weren't for D Wade being a moron, he would have won the
Yes,
second one. And the first one, they should have just called it. Like it got to the point where him and Zach LaVine ran out of dunks. They should have called it, then just had co-winners for that year. Everybody knows that he's got robbed twice. So
yes.
it's like,
Now I will say this about this year's
yeah.
Stephon Castle once again.
Oh, he
Was
he did.
impressive.
And you remember I told you, I looked at you and said, I was like, if Mac McClung was not in this dunk contest,
Yeah,
Stephon Cat, like I'll go as far as to say the last 3 to 4 years, take away Matt McClung, he would have literally won all three of those dunk contests with that performance he put on. Because he
yes,
did really
agreed.
good. It just got overshadowed by, I mean, when Matt McClung, when you come out on your first dunk and jump over a car, it's like,
Yeah,
as Kenny Smith would say, shut the building down. It's
shut it
over.
down.
It's over.
It's over, ladies and gentlemen. It's over.
You remember we
It's
both looked at
over.
each other. We were like, and to Mac McClung's credits, one thing I noticed Stephon Castle wasn't able to do, Matt McClung had the crowd on his side the second he stepped foot on the court. Like, it was raps.
Yeah,
But going forward, like, because my thing is, too, I'm like, how many more years can Matt McClung compete? You get what I'm saying? Like, and I
yeah.
get it. He, like, it's good. It gets to a point where it's like, even next year, how does he top this year?
I don't know that he does.
Like
I don't
he
even.
might need to retire. I trust me.
Yes.
He's the type of guy where I could tell he would definitely do it again. But it's getting to the point where it's like you can't keep forcing it. Like we don't
No.
need the same guy winning it 4 years in a row with little to
No.
no competition. Like that's just not good ball. And here's the problem with the dunk contest too. We can go and move on after this. But even if the guys like Ja and Zion and Giannis do it now, trust me, it'll get views, but it's not gonna be the same. Like I don't think not one of those three dudes that I named are gonna be as creative as Matt McClung has been the last 2 years. I'm just being
No.
honest.
No. It's not. The only way that even comes remotely close is if you have to bring out like Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine. If you got Ja in there, Zion, Giannis, then you need to have somebody like a Zach LaVine
Or Anthony
and
Edwards or
or
somebody like
Anthony
or a
Edwards.
crazy name. Yeah.
That's right. It needs to be another big name that comes out. Like I don't want to see John Morant competing against Mac McClung.
Yeah. But
You see what I'm
even
saying?
to your point, I mentioned Anthony Edwards. He sat out the All-Star game because the brother had a cold, supposedly.
Well,
I'm like, bro, dudes just don't want to compete no more.
they don't. They don't. It's all about load management, making sure that my body's straight. There's not the competitive fire like there used to be.
No.
See, this is the reason why there are still some who are going to call, say Michael Jordan has been surpassed, and you and I are going to touch on that a little bit later. But Jordan never would have done.
Or
what
even
took place
Kobe.
this weekend.
Kobe not sitting out no
No,
All-Star game.
no. Kobe nor Jordan would have sat out an All-Star game.
No.
I'm
No.
sorry, they just would not have.
Yeah.
Even the All-Star game that Jordan was supposed to be Jordan's last. I mean, this cat was still giving him the
That's
business.
what I'm saying.
Like, listen, we all knew he was.
I remember that game because he was voted a starter, but he let Vince Carter start. He was like, he's more deserving.
That's right.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then he still went out there and gave him the business
Yep.
when he did play.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but anyway, we can move on from that now. The All-Star game, because I'm gonna give you the floor because I know you have really really strong
Well,
you have really really strong thoughts about this.
yeah.
So I'm gonna give you the floor for a few minutes and just let you do your thing, and then we can circle back
Because there's a couple
I
of touch points I actually want to like just genuinely get your thoughts on.
Yeah.
I'll touch on it briefly, but I'm disgusted. I'm disgusted with Adam. No, I'm just being honest. I was genuinely disgusted. I still have a bitter taste in my mouth from the All-Star game.
Pause.
Yeah, pause on that. But Adam Silver, along with the NBA players and along with Turner Sports, I'm gonna throw them in there as well. They should be They should be ashamed of themselves. First of all, with Turner Sports, I get it. I love Inside the NBA. I love Chuck. I love Ernie. I love Shaq. I love Charles Barkley. I love Kenny Smith. I love all of them. But why in God's name do you decide to do a tribute to them during the middle of the championship game for the All-Star game. First off, that's bad ball. And then, you remember I looked at you, I said, I ain't never seen this many commercial breaks for a sporting event in my life. Like, it felt bad. It felt like I was watching a BET movie with all the commercial breaks. How long they were. I'm not even trolling. No joke.
It's supposed to be an hour and 40 minutes.
That's what I'm saying.
It takes 3 hours
That's
and
what
20
I'm
minutes.
saying. Like that. I remember I looked at you like, I went out to Papa John's, ordered the pizza, picked it up, came back home, ate 2 slices, and they were still during a commercial break. I was like, bruh, ain't no way.
Yeah.
Like,
It was ridiculous.
It was bad. You had too much stoppage, too much advertisement. The only highlight of the All-Star game was that brother from the crowd winning that $100,000 from Mr. Beast. And to take that, like, to even kind of just go back to that, the brother barely made the shot. He hit it at the buzzer as time expired. Like, you remember I looked at you, I was like, bro, ain't no way. Like, they gonna hype it up like this and this brother don't make it. Like, it was bad. But to actually go back to the All-Star game, first off, I hate the format. Stephen Curry got All-Star game MVP. The brother had 12 points. That is nefarious work. Kobe is rolling over in his grave. I'm sorry. 12 points is nefarious work, Dad. For somebody to get All-Star. And what makes it worse is, how you going to name the MVP trophy the Kobe Bryant All-Star Game MVP? That's disrespectful to Kobe. The brother had 12 points. And my thing is, that's not the player's fault. When the format is stupid. Like, I get it. They want competition. And Draymond Green even talked about this. It was like, and I kind of have pushback to Draymond Green, his comments about, well, the Rising Stars team that won on Friday night should not be touching the All-Star game court. I'm like, bruh, I get it, but y'all literally did this to yourselves. Like, y'all have given piss poor effort the last 4 or 5 years. Like, Adam Silver had to do something. Now, did he make the right decision? Absolutely not, because you can't have an All-Star game where the target score is 40 points. It's boring. Nobody can get their stats. And like I said, it leads to the All-Star game MVP having 12 points. It was just absolutely terrible. Like, the championship, the tribute for Turner Sports was longer than the championship. I was more engaged for that than I was the actual All-Star Game MVP. All-Star Game championship, excuse me. And another thing I hated was, like, these dudes that have busted their chops throughout this season to make an All-Star game like Cade Cunningham, those names like that, Wemby. I mean, Wemby got a lot of playing time because it's Wemby, but like Cade Cunningham, Alperen Sengun, some of these first-time All-Stars, they barely sniffed the court because they didn't have enough time to be able to sniff the court. Like, the target score was 40. They're getting put in when the score is 36 to 32. It's like they're getting no tick. It's annoying. So I could keep ranting. And another thing that really ticked me off is, too, it's just like, and you know me, I'm always going to defend LeBron. I love LeBron. But it's even gotten to a point where it's like, it's a joke for LeBron. Like, they had already announced Thursday LeBron was not going to be showing up for the All-Star game practice. None of the media, none of that media stuff, et cetera, et cetera. I at least thought the brother was going to play in the All-Star game. For him to literally get to Sunday 2 or 3 hours before the All-Star game and say, yeah, I'm just not going to play, that's disrespectful to somebody like Norman Powell or Martin Luther King, as we call him. But that's disrespect. That's disrespectful to someone like Norman Powell, like somebody that genuinely could have had that All-Star game spot that was deserving. Like LaMelo Ball, for example, my guy. Like, it's like LeBron. You knew you weren't gonna play, bro. Like, just you gotta forfeit that spot to somebody else, man. Somebody else. I'm just being honest with you.
Okay. Well,
and last thing I'm gonna say is, it actually leads me to my question for you is, what do you think they could do to actually save the All-Star game? I have some thoughts, but I'm gonna let you. I want to hear your thoughts first.
Well, first of all, I kind of alluded to Jordan or Kobe Bryant wouldn't have sat out an All-Star game.
Yeah.
Now, I get that maybe this was a protest because you don't like the format or whatever, but it is what it is. And to show up at the last minute and then say, "Oh, I'm not playing," because I saw some pictures online and people were like, "Well, he couldn't have even changed. He couldn't have changed and put the outfit on." I don't care about that because there have been other All-Star photos where a guy who didn't play was in street clothes. No, not Anthony Davis. No.
Well, to your point, if anybody deserves to sit out of an All-Star game, it's LeBron. You know what I'm saying? But I still didn't
No, I
Excuse
didn't
me.
like the look though.
Yeah, I didn't like the look either.
Yeah, it's not a good look. It's just not a good look. And I get why, but it's not a good look, especially when folks are there to see you, and we don't know how much longer you're going to play either. So
Exactly.
that's the other piece of it. So one of the things that I've been thinking about as far as how to fix it, and to Draymond's point, and to what you actually said, you know, part of the reason we're here, part of the reason this format is here, is because dudes weren't giving effort for the past several years. You come out there and it's just like the Rising Stars game that we described earlier. No, there's no defense, none of that. Now last year, I mean, if was it last year or the year before, the 2 years in a row where they did like you had the charity and
Yeah,
based on the
it was the
scores.
one in Chicago in 2020, and then the one after that. But like, yeah, like
Yes,
they have a proven formula that you remember I told you this over the weekend. I was like, that one from Chicago in 2020 was easily the best in my opinion because that's also, I mean, they honored Kobe and Gigi then too, but
yes.
they actually competed that game. Like you remember, it literally came down to like the last possession or two because they had
And
the
that's when
target
LeBron
score.
made the fadeaway jumper.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
from the corner. Yes, exactly. So one thought that I have though, because I kind of looked at Chuck's team, which is what like the international team,
Yeah, the global
one
stars.
global stars. And so if you look at the final game, that's essentially what it was. It was the USA versus the global stars.
Mm-hmm.
That is a thought that I think that the NBA should consider. If you think about what just happened at the Olympics, and they call themselves the Avengers and all that good stuff, have a team from the U.S. Because you're going to have enough all stars from the U.S. compete against the all stars from other teams. Because let's be honest, the all stars from other countries. Because let's be honest, Jokic doesn't give effort either.
No.
Luka never gives effort when he's in the All Star game. So this would be an opportunity to now pit the U.S. against the international or the global stars and actually have some real competition. Because one thing that I will say, they picked it up in that final game. Dame started out like, I'm serious about this. Steph did the half court shot, but he was serious,
Yeah, they
and you
played
could tell
defense.
they played defense, and they were like, "Nah, this is a global team. You guys are talking about all the other countries being better than us. We'll show you." So, to me, that's a format that I think could work. You could actually have some of the global all stars versus the U.S. and that be your all star game because you're gonna have enough selections from the U.S. and then from other countries, and you could pit those two teams against each other. I think that potentially could work.
I like that format as well. I think they need to either do something like that, or I'm cool if they go back to just the standard East versus West. Like one thing I've said is even
Hmm.
from a marketing perspective, like you remember I was telling you this over the weekend. Like back in like 2003 and 4 when like they would have the East versus the West and everybody would wear their team's jersey. Like I love that. Of course, one team would have like the colored jerseys, one would have the white jerseys for it being like the home team. But that format was fine to me. Like similar to 2020, I'm cool if there's a target score. It's a full game. Like I don't like. You remember that game was close. They split it up every quarter to have a target score. Like you said, the money, like the winning team for each quarter had the money going to charities, and they had the kids there and stuff like that. I love that. But just increase the target score because, like I said, you can't be having somebody get All Star Game MVP with 12 points. That's just nefarious work. And my thing
Yes.
is, like, the biggest thing Adam Silver needs to do is you need to decide on an All Star Game format and stick with it. It's like
Yeah.
every single year for
Be
the past
consistent.
like 5 to 6 years, there's a new format, new rules we got to get accustomed to along with the players as fans. Like, you got to just stick to your guns. Even if the first year or two isn't perfect, you got to just stick with it. Like, you can't keep changing it up year by year by year. Like, nobody's going to respect that. The players aren't, and we as the fans are definitely not going to respect it. Like, we're tired of it. So, in my like to your point, they've had proven success in the last 10, like that 2020 format, it worked. Like, I don't know how
Yeah.
they go from that to a target score of 40 points. Like, it's just nefarious work. So,
Well,
Adam,
minimum score should be I mean, minimum should be 50 if you're going to have that many games.
yeah,
That's the first thing. I would agree with
I
that.
I think just
But
keep the target scoring. Like the target score can be 125. I don't
oh, I
care.
agree.
Yeah.
I'm saying if he decides next year that he's going to do the same
Mhm.
stupid tournament, then And I'm saying stupid because it's stupid.
I don't even like the tournament format though. It's just too much.
Oh, I
Like
don't.
it's just too much going on. Like just have it like you said, be two teams and just let them
Yes,
hoop.
that's right. That's what I think. But my point is, if you decide to still go with the tournament format, then the minimum should be at least 50.
I agree.
That because trust me, it's not going to add that much time. How about you just take out a few sponsors in the commercials, and trust me, the game will still go fast. The reason
Facts.
why it took forever is because of all the commercials and the halftime
Yeah.
ridiculousness.
And
Because
what's
that's what it
sad is
was.
too for like some of these young players like Jason Tatum and Wemby and like if Anthony Edwards were to play, they can't chase these All-Star game scoring records and stuff like that when they're getting 12 points and getting MVP. They're just not realistic. So it's like it's also unfair to them. And like I said, it's really unfair to the dudes who make the All-Star team and barely get to play. It's like that was, you know what I'm saying? Like so like Cade Cunningham, he basically just took a weekend trip to San Francisco. He didn't get to do much.
No,
Like,
he didn't.
thank God he participated in 3-point contests because outside of that, you would have barely saw him.
True.
So,
Absolutely.
and then this leads me to my last question because it was rumored, especially given the way the All-Star game was, that there have been talks about Adam Silver now trying to present a 1v1 tournament this upcoming. I'm like, I wonder where he got that from. Cough, cough, unrivaled. But supposedly he was saying like they would do a 1-on-1 tournament and like the prize would be $1 million. What's wild is I don't even think that'd be enough to get players to want to do it because it's not like
Because they don't want to lose.
no.
Because they'd be scared to lose.
I'll be honest. There's a couple big names I think that would do it. Like KD, that brother just loves basketball. I think KD would do it.
Anthony Edwards.
Maybe. Like I said,
No.
the brother act like he had a cold and didn't play in the All-Star game.
Well,
So,
if KD did, because here's the truth.
oh yeah, he looks up
about
to
that.
KD.
If KD did it, he would do it.
Yeah, I agree. It's gonna take some of these top guys to just like. I think it starts with Kevin Durant. Like if KD commits to doing it, like you said, some of these other players will fall into place. But one person I will say that I know would do it would be Wemby.
Oh, for sure.
Like Wemby treated the All-Star. That's why I was ticked off because you remember I was like, man, this is Wemby's MVP to win, and it's like he barely had an opportunity. It sucked.
Agreed.
But we can keep going on for days about the All-Star game. My prayer is just that going forward that like they switch up the format for not only the All-Star game but the dunk contest, just a lot of this stuff, and hopefully in the next year or two we can go and see a change.
Agreed.
So
Agreed.
yeah.
All right, so we're gonna wrap up this episode with moving the needle, and I'll just go ahead and go first. My moving the needle this week was the Lady Tar Heels beating NC State. I was watching that game and I was getting upset, and I was making some comments about substitutions and what should be going on, and and then I was able to calm down because we ended up winning the game. It was way closer than I thought it should be.
Without Utsby too.
Without Utsby, and that was huge. But quiet is kept, and not so quiet now. Renee Kelly is becoming a star right in front of our eyes.
Facts.
She is special, and she's showing it. She's becoming one of the best point guards in the country. She really kept that game close, and then she helped win the game when the chips were on the line.
Facts.
So I have to give a shout out. Everybody who listens knows I'm a Tar Heel homer, and I haven't had a lot to talk about as far as our men's basketball team, but our women now are ranked in the top 10. I think we're number 9 as of today with the AP. So shout out to the Lady Tar Heels beating NC State. Go Heels. Jameson, what are your moving the needle?
I got two quick ones. So my first one is Carolina was going to be one of them, but the big one for me.
My bad.
No, you're good. You know how much I love Juju Watkins, so that was going to be my moving the needle this week. They ended up beating the number 1 ranked team in the country, UCLA. That was a huge win for them, and Juju balled out because Kiki Iriafen didn't have. That was probably the worst game I've ever seen her play. But Juju Watkins had 38 points, shot a high percentage from 3. She had 12 rebounds, and she had 8 blocks. Like I remember I told you Friday, I was like, she was that close to having a triple double with blocks as a guard. Like that's insane. Like, and I told you this, Caitlin Clark, all that talk. Juju Watkins is gonna be Jordan of the WNBA whenever she could what's it called? Aaliyah Boston was talking about it whenever she interviewed her. She was like, I wish you could come to the W right now. Like, Juju's that good. She's a generational talent. Like, I'm just happy for her. It's like, and I'm glad, like, she's really, I know Caitlin Clark did a lot of it too last year, but like, she's really putting, women's basketball really on the map, in my opinion, from the collegiate level. And it's just good to see, her flourishing. Then my second quick move in the needle would be the Unrivaled Basketball League, like the one-on-one tournament they had this past week. I really enjoyed watching that. And huge shout out to Nafisa Collier for winning that. It was like really fun to watch. So I enjoyed it.
That was great. That was great. Yeah, that's to your point. I think the NBA is actually learning something from the WNBA because those ladies don't mind competing.
Yeah.
That's honestly that's the problem right now with the NBA. You've got too many dudes who don't want to compete, and it's become an epidemic now. So I hope that they look at that format and do something, and look at how Unrivaled and the WNBA is now starting to gain momentum. There are lots of games in WNBA I'd much rather watch than some of the NBA games now.
Facts.
And that's just the reality.
It is.
So, yeah. So, all right. Well, that's going to do it for this week's episode. We appreciate everybody tuning in, and we will see you back again next week.